Have you ever imagined that some of America's most peaceful-looking landscapes, vast, quiet, and seemingly untouched, could conceal dangers that few people dare to face? From active volcanic regions and immense canyons to scorching deserts, survival in these environments is never guaranteed. Narrow trails suspended above deep drop-offs, powerful rivers, and dense wilderness create conditions where every step is filled with uncertainty and challenge. Rugged terrain, steep cliffs, and unstable slopes can shift without warning, revealing a side of nature that is both awe-inspiring and unforgiving. Prepare yourself and join us as we explore some of the most dangerous places in the United States, where every moment tells a story of survival and where a single mistake can come at a high cost. Located within Zion National Park in the state of Utah, Angel's Landing is one of the most dangerous hiking routes in the United States. This sandstone formation features sheer cliffs rising more than 984 feet. And dropping directly into the canyon on both sides. The exposed terrain at an elevation of 5,791 feet has absolutely no protective barriers. The final section of the journey, stretching nearly 0.6 miles, is an extreme challenge that drains every ounce of courage. Climbers must move along a narrow ridge barely wide enough for a single foot. Sudden gusts of powerful wind repeatedly sweep across the dizzying void, forcing people to cling tightly to the single chain system for survival. At least 17 fatal falls from great heights have turned this place into a deadly zone. The ancient sandstone is prone to breaking apart and can crumble under the pressure of a footstep, causing victims to instantly lose their footing. Severe fear of heights reactions along the narrow chain section can easily overwhelm the nervous system. Summer temperatures frequently exceed 104 degrees Fahrenheit, rapidly draining strength and causing hallucinations or sudden exhaustion. Meanwhile, unexpected thunderstorms transform the smooth rock surface into a merciless slide as slippery as grease. Every mistake here can cost a life. Denali in the state of Alaska is the highest mountain in North America and one of the most dangerous places in the United States. The wilderness environment at the summit of Denali consistently maintains temperatures plunging below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Extreme cold can quickly kill the human body through hypothermia. Snowstorms on Denali's summit are fully capable of knocking down anything with wind speeds of 160 miles per hour. The icy terrain frequently conceals numerous deep glacier crevasses hidden beneath a thin layer of snow. Powerful avalanches descending from the mountain slopes can permanently bury explorers. History has recorded that more than 100 climbers have died on Denali after falling into deep chasms. The wilderness core of the Denali mountain range is completely cut off from all radio communications. Victims trapped amid the ice and snow will certainly not receive immediate medical rescue services. Denali explorers regularly face predators such as grizzly bears and wild wolves. Wildlife is always ready to attack any human target that dares to enter its territory. Death is always close at hand, causing the human survival rate to drop to an extremely low level. Hidden within the majestic Elk Mountains, Capitol Peak appears like a magnificent and grand castle of silver-gray sandstone. However, behind its splendor resembling the United States Capitol, lies the deadliest mountain in Colorado. The chilling warning sign from the Forest Service at the trailhead accurately reflects the brutality of this deadly place. The deadly Capitol Peak has recorded a fatal accident rate, reaching 91% throughout its history. The centerpiece of this infamous survival trap is the Knife Edge Ridge, a razor-sharp section more than 98 feet long. This granite ledge hangs high above the void, with sheer cliffs plunging more than 1,312 feet on both sides. Shaking off the bone-chilling cold of Kentucky, our journey veers sharply westward toward the Pacific Northwest. We are thrown directly into an apocalyptic graveyard known as Mount St. Helens. This mountain does not threaten travelers with sheer cliffs or deadly precipices. Instead, it spreads terror through a violent reactor hidden beneath a seemingly tranquil blanket of snow. The scars of destruction remain exposed through millions of fallen fir trees. They drift across Spirit Lake like a colossal graveyard of bleached bones. Every cautious step across the gray volcanic ash is a gamble with death. The fragile ground can collapse without warning, dragging victims into hidden fissures filled with toxic gases. Amid the remnants of devastation, fragile life stubbornly rises once more. Herds of elk quietly graze beside clusters of wildflowers that have only recently bloomed. In the distance, daring wanderers casually build campfires along the ash-covered slopes. Yet beneath their feet, seismic instruments continue to tremble, warning that the sleeping monster has never truly rested. Place your hand upon a charred black log and gently close your eyes. You may feel the deadly pulse of the earth itself vibrating upward through your boots. Take a few steps back and brush the gray ash from your shoulders. The expedition vehicle is sounding its horn impatiently, urging us onward toward even more brutal natural nightmares ahead. Leaving behind the sweltering heat of Bighorn, the journey veers sharply into the brutal frozen realm of the north. Matanuska Glacier in Alaska welcomes travelers with a colossal river of ice of astonishing coldness. This gleaming white beast relentlessly crawls through the valley with the ambition of freezing everything in its path. Beneath its deceptively dazzling surface, it conceals countless deadly traps waiting to swallow unsuspecting victims. Its savage, uneven surface is torn apart by thousands of bottomless crevasses plunging into darkness. Thin layers of fragile snow often cruelly conceal deep blue ice shafts below. With a single careless slip, a reckless life can be buried forever within this frozen tomb. Yet within this icy underworld, wildlife continues to endure in miraculous ways. Tiny iceworms thrive calmly upon pools of frigid meltwater. A few jet-black ravens perch casually atop razor-sharp ice pinnacles, curiously observing the visitors below. Try removing your gloves and touching a slab of thousand-year-old ice shrouded in mist. The overwhelming numbness immediately pierces deep into your bones, crushing any lingering pride. Quickly raise your collar and rub your reddened hands together to reclaim a trace of warmth. The engine of our expedition vehicle is already roaring loudly, impatiently pulling us toward the next deadly wilderness ahead. The dense fog of the Olympic Peninsula is torn apart by towering cliffs, revealing the deadly isolation of Mount Olympus. This land in Washington state is a massive mountain block besieged by wet, temperate rainforest. Its rugged rocky slopes combined with walls of blue ice completely reject every attempt at intrusion. Numerous deep crevasses scattered across the surface of this 7,965-foot mountain have forced rescue teams to impose the highest level of danger warnings. The silent but constant movement of the enormous ice masses surrounding the summit creates invisible traps beneath the soft snow, ready to swallow any footprints that linger too long. Extreme rainfall pouring in from the Pacific coast continuously compresses the mountain slopes, unleashing violent avalanches that sweep through steep rocky gullies. Powerful wind gusts combined with dense freezing mist can suddenly engulf the entire landscape, completely destroying all navigational ability. Within this desolate environment devoid of signs of life, unstable sheets of slippery ice stand ready to collapse and pin any reckless intruder deep within the abyss below. The suffocating hazards of the next destination's swamps, overflowing with decaying vegetation, are already waiting ahead, just before this entire fractured ice slope system collapses completely into the rocky valley below. Escaping the haunting grip of the maze sandstone labyrinth, the relentless wheel of geography hurls us onto the barren plains of New Mexico to confront Shiprock. This dark monolith pierces the Earth's crust and rises from the desert like a ghostly ship, radiating a chilling aura that unsettles anyone daring enough to wander near this forbidden land. Forged from the throat of an extinct volcano, its razor-sharp and near-vertical cliffs form a fortress riddled with deadly traps. Unstable rockfalls and slippery terrain, combined with raging desert winds, stand ready to tear apart and cast down every arrogant attempt at conquest into the shattered dust below. At the foot of this colossal volcanic neck lies a landscape drained of life, where relentless heat burns away the last reserves of strength from those who venture too far. The eerie silence transforms the area into a perfect open-air grave, mercilessly swallowing every desperate cry for help into the void. Standing beneath the overwhelming shadow of this giant, you may find yourself holding your breath, keenly aware of your heartbeat before nature's power to take life away. Hold tight and steady your nerves through this shiver of dread, for our perilous expedition continues at full speed toward even deadlier and more unforgiving destinations ahead. The vast, icy expanse of those fog-filled limestone canyons is suddenly shattered by the colossal 12,276-foot slopes of Mount Adams. This land in Washington state is one of the largest stratovolcanoes in the Cascade Range, possessing an unstable geological structure that continually threatens the surrounding valleys. Its steep slopes of crumbling rock are always ready to isolate any footsteps that dare to enter. The traces of massive eruptions from thousands of years ago remain clearly visible through ancient lava flows, frozen across dozens of miles. Field records show that this mountain has experienced major flank collapses in the past, generating suffocating rock slides that completely altered the structure of river systems below. The most devastating danger is concentrated within its network of 12 permanent glaciers, where lingering sulfur gases weaken the bedrock structure. Heat from beneath the earth combined with surface ice continuously triggers volcanic mud flows capable of sweeping away every living thing in an instant. When dense clouds suddenly engulf the barren slopes, visibility drops to zero, leaving travelers hopelessly disoriented within a wilderness labyrinth. Before this fragile geological structure unleashes another massive flank collapse, are you ready to leave these treacherous icy slopes behind and confront the cold isolation of black rock deserts filled with howling winds, waiting at the next destination? Crossing the steep and wild knife-edge ridges, the landscape is suddenly consumed by a deadly blanket of white known as Glacier Peak. This volcano challenges every attempt at access, with dense forests and a maze of fierce rivers surrounding it. Its extreme isolation has transformed it into the most dangerous death zone in the Cascade Range. A monitoring system has been established to closely track the seeds of destruction hidden deep beneath the earth. The geological history of this place records violent eruptions that blasted away entire ecosystems and reshaped the geological layers through thousands of years of fluctuating glacial activity. The harshness of the environment is revealed through a network of 12 major glaciers encircling the volcano, creating deep crevasses that threaten to collapse at any moment. The weather atop this 10,541-foot volcano changes with brutal speed, as snowstorms can arrive and erase all visibility within just a few short minutes. The ground beneath your feet is never truly stable due to rock falls and volcanic mud flows that can sweep away everything in their path. What sleeping danger beneath the ancient ice and snow of this volcano may awaken in the future? And are you ready to leave this frozen wilderness behind and confront the unexpected geological traps awaiting in the next remote land? Isolated in the northeastern United States, Mount Washington has the appearance of a snowy paradise covered in dreamy, misty clouds. However, behind that romantic fog lies its reputation as the place with the worst weather in the world. This destination is actually an infamous extreme survival trap, ready to punish any carelessness. This mountain is the meeting point of three major atmospheric air currents. This unique geographic phenomenon creates terrifying windstorms along its slopes. The record wind gust at the summit once reached an astonishing 231 miles per hour. Such brutal winds are more than capable of knocking a person down instantly. The greatest danger of Mount Washington lies in its sudden and merciless weather changes. Even in the middle of summer, temperatures can plunge below freezing within just a few minutes. Unexpected heavy snowfall can transform every route into a featureless white landscape with no escape. Visitors' visibility quickly drops to zero. In the dense gloom, the bone-chilling cold rapidly drains away the body's remaining heat. Sudden hypothermia causes mental numbness and severe disorientation. Victims can easily lose their footing and fall onto the jagged, slippery cliffs below. The lonely struggle for survival here often ends in tragedy. In the state of California, Mount Russell features knife-edge ridges along the East Ridge route, turning the mountain into a terrifying psychological test. Climbers must traverse a ridge barely wider than a foot, while both sides drop away into abysses hundreds of feet deep. This exposed terrain allows no room for error. This 14,088-foot mountain eliminates inexperienced climbers with its frighteningly steep geological structure. Instead of level trails, the ascent requires Class 3 and Class 4 free climbing skills. Constant exposure to vast open space can easily trigger acute fear of heights. The mountain's brutal weather reveals itself through sudden temperature drops whenever storm clouds cover the Sierra Nevada. Powerful winds strike the barren slopes directly, reducing finger grip strength and causing sudden muscle cramps. A single moment of imbalance caused by a gust can send a victim sliding down the steep rock face. The danger is multiplied because rescue helicopters face extreme difficulty lowering ropes onto these razor-sharp ridges. Sheltered behind the shadow of Mount Whitney, airflow around Mount Russell forms unusually turbulent and unpredictable vortices. Any injury here can leave climbers completely dependent on themselves for survival. The journey to test the limits of human survival officially sets sail as we head straight into one of the harshest wastelands in North America, the Sawtooth Mountains in Idaho. This jagged mountain range tears through the sky with razor-sharp granite peaks resembling the fangs of a colossal beast waiting to devour the faint-hearted. The breathtaking grandeur of this place always comes with a looming death sentence, dictated by precarious vertical cliffs and furious snowstorms that strike without warning. Beneath the seductive blanket of ice and snow lie deadly fractured chasms of immense depth, ready to make arrogant climbers pay for the slightest mistake with their lives. Rejecting every comfort of civilization, the Sawtooth Wilderness surrounds travelers with chilling isolation and tolerates only those with nerves of steel, willing to gamble their lives on the edge of the abyss. This deadly land turns every attempt at survival into a suffocating battle, where the violent crack of splitting ice becomes the only requiem echoing back from the realm of death. Wipe the cold sweat from your brow and steel your resolve, for this expedition into the world's most unforgiving locations has only just begun, and countless dangers still growl and wait beyond the horizon. The suffocating ruggedness of the tropical rainforest suddenly transforms into extreme danger. As we confront the deadly gap known as Pali Notch. This location on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, is a narrow mountain pass cutting across the steep slopes of the ancient Kalalau Range. Its towering rocky terrain and crumbling boulders leave absolutely no room for mistakes. The brutal legacy of the Battle of Nuuanu remains etched into this place, Isquiles, where hundreds of warriors were forced over the edge and plunged into the abyss from the windswept cliffs nearby. The relentless erosion of time on the geological structure of this extinct volcano has left the slopes in a constant state of instability, turning every foothold into a gamble with death. Powerful winds screaming through the narrow gap create immense pressure, ready to knock down anyone clinging to a rock ledge less than 2 feet wide. Fog combined with violent gusts completely conceals the thousands of feet deep chasm below, destroying any sense of balance. Amid the howling wind, moss-covered slippery cliffs cut off all retreat and isolate travelers high above the ground. Would you choose to leave this wind-blasted and deadly mountain gap behind to face the brutal, scorching heat of the barren, white salt deserts awaiting at the next destination, before the raging winds erase every trace of survival? Deep within Yosemite National Park in California, Half Dome challenges human limits with its distinctive granite formation, sheared flat on one side. This unusual rock face rises 4,738 feet, creating a terrifyingly extreme slope. The greatest danger is concentrated along the cable-assisted section that crosses the bare granite surface. This cable area frequently becomes a deadly slide whenever sudden rainstorms arrive. The entire smooth rock surface instantly turns as slippery as grease beneath visitors' feet. Attempting to cling to the soaked metal cables quickly exhausts arm strength, placing climbers at serious risk of a free-fall accident. The most brutal threat on the flat summit comes from direct lightning strikes during the afternoon. Standing alone above the valley, this exposed rock formation acts as a gigantic natural lightning rod. Powerful electrical currents traveling across the bare stone can instantly kill anyone who is not evacuated in time. Many fatalities here have been linked to severe fear of heights reactions that can trigger intense disorientation. The overwhelming openness of the surrounding landscape can impair judgment and spatial awareness. When accidents occur, rescue by helicopter becomes extremely difficult because turbulent winds swirl around the cliff walls. Leaving behind the icy waters and gloomy darkness of the previous narrow gorge, the next stage of our journey brings us face to face with deadly traps hidden within the heart of the Narrows. This wilderness chokes off every escape route with sheer canyon walls, rising up to 1,000 feet and pressing tightly together. This treacherous environment transforms the gentle Virgin River into a deadly passage filled with hazards, where massive, slippery boulders lie beneath every step. Nineteenth-century geological maps came at the cost of the blood and bones of the earliest explorers. Terrifying flash floods can raise water levels by dozens of feet in just a few minutes, turning the rocky channel into a suffocating coffin. Darkness engulfs the depths of the canyon because sunlight is completely blocked by rock corridors only a few steps wide. The river's water temperature remains at persistently low levels, easily causing severe hypothermia in the human body. The echoing roar of the rushing water continuously warns of nature's sudden fury. What deadly force is waiting to swallow the footsteps of lone travelers within this suffocating, narrow gorge? And do you have the courage to leave these dangerous waters behind and confront the scorching heat of the next barren sandstone formations? Leaving behind the lonely frozen land of ice and snow, our journey turns back the clock and returns us to blazing heat, where the rim-to-rim trail cuts straight through the heart of the Grand Canyon. This trail connects the North Rim and South Rim, passing directly through the depths of the immense canyon. It serves as a lifeline that tests human limits while revealing constantly changing ecological zones. This 24-mile route was originally shaped by Native American tribes before being completed in the 1930s. A major turning point came when the Kaibab suspension bridge was successfully constructed, opening a path to conquer depths of more than 5,000 feet below the canyon floor. Walking along the rim-to-rim trail feels like turning the pages of Earth's gigantic stone book, where layers of vividly red sandstone form magnificent natural pyramid-like structures. The most spectacular highlight lies along the detour to Ribbon Falls, where a silver cascade pours onto a lush green carpet of moss, creating a vibrant oasis that appears suddenly in the heart of the barren desert. The striking contrast between the scorching canyon walls and the cool flowing water overturns every sense of spatial perception. What primordial secrets remain hidden beneath the depths of this great geological scar and its deep river? And are you ready to leave these subterranean depths behind for the next barren wilderness shrouded in mystery? The brutality of Grand Teton is most evident in the terrifying lightning accidents that have occurred on this 13,776-foot summit. In 2010, a single lightning strike swept across the peak, causing 17 climbing casualties in a shocking tragedy. This exposed granite mountain in Wyoming acts as a gigantic natural lightning rod. The Owen-Spalding route forces visitors to crawl across a frightening rock feature known as the belly roll. At this point, climbers must cling tightly to a protruding rock slab, while the entire lower part of their bodies hangs above a 1,969-foot drop. A single moment of fear or hesitation can trigger a free fall. Unlike many other mountains, Grand Teton has no gradual transition zone for adaptation and rises abruptly from the flat valley floor. The sudden elevation gain of more than 6,562 feet in a single day can easily shock the human body. Pulmonary edema and cerebral edema caused by oxygen deprivation remain constant hidden threats. Grand Teton Rangers must maintain one of the world's most specialized long rope rescue teams. Due to the nearly vertical cliff structure, rescue helicopters can only hover and attempt distant access in fierce winds. Even the smallest technical mistake within this rocky basin can cost a life. Mount Whitney is located on the boundary between Inyo and Tulare counties in the state of California, United States. This mountain rises to an elevation of 14,505 feet and officially holds the record as the highest peak in the contiguous United States. It also marks the challenging eastern terminus of the famous John Muir Trail. The route features 99 relentlessly steep switchbacks that drain the strength of even the most determined climbers. This wilderness trail frequently becomes a deadly trap when covered by slippery sheets of ice. At the section equipped with safety cables, even a minor slip can send a victim plunging into the abyss below. The Smithsonian hut built on the summit can unintentionally become a deadly electrical trap when storms arrive. Many visitors who mistakenly believed it was a safe shelter have paid with their lives after being struck directly by lightning. Powerful electrical currents surge through exposed rock fractures, turning the area into a deadly zone. The extreme temperature difference between the mountain base and summit creates turbulent winds that extinguish any chance of survival. Hot, dry air from nearby Death Valley collides with the frigid mountain mass and can rapidly condense into violent snowstorms. This sudden weather change can quickly overwhelm visitors. Located along the Na Pali coast on the island of Kauai, Hawaii, the Kalalau Trail is often called the most dangerous coastal trail in the world. This wilderness route stretches for 22 miles round trip, winding through towering volcanic cliffs. The isolated terrain completely cuts off escape routes, placing people in an extreme survival challenge. The greatest danger of the journey is concentrated at the narrow ledge known as Crawler's Ledge. This unstable path is less than 3.3 feet wide and clings to a sheer cliff, rising 295 feet above the turbulent ocean. A single misstep on this windy ledge can send a hiker plunging into the raging waters below. Powerful currents along the beaches of the route remain a constant threat to visitors. Warning markers carved along the trail leave a lasting impression on those who pass through. Sudden large waves can sweep anyone standing too close to the shoreline out to sea. Heavy rains in Hawaii frequently trigger terrifying flash floods within minutes. Muddy torrents rush through isolated valleys, transforming gentle streams into thick mud traps that hinder rescue efforts. The red clay trail becomes as slippery as grease, draining the strength of hikers with every step. Ancient thousand-year-old pine trees stand isolated upon gray mountain slopes, revealing the harsh solitude of Wheeler Peak. This land within Great Basin National Park in Nevada is a steep limestone massif surrounded by barren desert. Its loose gravel slopes and deep ravines completely reject the footsteps of explorers. The continuous freeze and thaw cycle, caused by the isolated climate at an elevation of 13,063 feet, has directly damaged the geological structure of this region. This process fractures massive summit rocks, turning them into thousands of sharp fragments, ready to slide into the valley below at the slightest disturbance. Leaving behind the icy fangs and relentless tension of the Sawtooth Mountains, We drift southward to relax our spirits within the mystical aura of the Kofa Mountains in the Arizona desert. In stark contrast to the deadly northern wilderness, this range of purple-veined rocky peaks rises from a vast sea of sand like a fairy tale castle, embracing the timeless secrets of the Old West. Walking across the rough desert gravel that echoes with a gentle crunch beneath each step. Travelers may feel like pilgrims drifting through a dream, while the hot, dry wind sweeps away every burden carried from the ordinary world. Watching the sunset pour a hazy violet glow across the lonely mountain peaks, you will touch the very essence of stillness and eternity in a land seemingly lost beyond the flow of time. Take a sip of cool water to soothe your parched lips and carry this desert mirage within your heart, for our wandering journey has already revved its engine and begun rolling toward another strange horizon. Leaving behind the mournful cries rising from California's depths, the relentless expedition vehicle tears through the night toward the plains of Arizona. The deadly destination known as Canyon de Chelly emerges with the imposing appearance of an ancient sanctuary. Do not allow this ruthless expanse of crimson sandstone to deceive your instincts. Beneath its majestic facade lies a cunning trap capable of imprisoning the unwary. The canyon floor conceals numerous pockets of soft sand hidden beneath damp sediment. A single misstep can leave a victim sinking into these silent traps. The towering sandstone walls, steep and smooth, offer virtually no easy route of escape. When sudden desert storms arrive, flash floods can surge through the narrow canyon, transforming the floor into a destructive force of nature. Ancient cliff dwellings cling to the canyon walls like empty eye sockets watching over every step of a traveler. The dry call of ravens cuts through the stillness, echoing from the cliffs like an eternal warning. The isolation of this landscape presses heavily upon the mind, surrounding visitors with an atmosphere both powerful and haunting. Raise your eyes toward the towering spire of Spider Rock piercing the sky, and you will quickly sense the smallness of human existence. Step carefully away from the unstable sands and return to the safety of the vehicle. The beast-like engine roars to life once again, ready to hurl us toward the next unforgiving wilderness ahead. Escaping the brutal furnace of Ubahibi, the wheel of fate hurls us back into the barren deserts of Utah. This time, the trap known as Peekaboo and Spooky Slot Canyons awaits travelers behind a deceptively harmless appearance. Do not let these playful names silence the survival instinct quietly sounding alarms through your veins. In reality, this pair of dark slot canyons is a ruthless machine designed to crush both body and mind. Entering this labyrinth of twisted sandstone is like surrendering yourself to a suffocating fear of confined spaces. The smooth canyon walls continuously narrow, squeezing a traveler's chest until breathing becomes a struggle. All it takes is a storm many miles away, and a flash flood can surge through the canyon like a bloodthirsty predator. Despite the suffocating atmosphere, this shadowy realm still harbors stubborn rhythms of survival. A few black widow spiders silently weave invisible webs in the darkest and most winding corners. The rustling sound of clothing scraping against stone as the determined adventurers struggle through the narrow passages echoes eerily like the sound of shedding skin. Press your sweat-dampened cheek against the polished sandstone walls closing in from both sides. You will likely hear the frantic beating of your own heart echoing back from this narrow stone prison. The roaring expedition vehicle sounds its horn once again, impatiently waiting to fling us toward even deadlier lands ahead. Beyond the modern borders of Utah and Arizona, Paria Canyon rises as a colossal sandstone masterpiece that defies time itself. Natural water flow over millions of years carved deep into the earth, revealing brilliantly colored, multi-hued geological layers. This entire desert wilderness features winding terrain and towering vertical cliffs of astonishing depth. This untamed land witnessed the mysterious disappearance of the Anasazi people in the 13th century. Then, in 1776, a pivotal historical event unfolded when two Spanish priests arrived here to explore the region. Stepping into the heart of Paria feels like entering a dimension where time has been bent into soft, flowing waves. The renowned formation known as the Wave challenges all visual logic, with sloping sandstone walls resembling gigantic ribbons in motion beneath the desert sun. The eerie silence of this labyrinth is broken only by the shadow cast by the wings of the rare California condor soaring overhead. What secrets lie hidden behind these lifeless stone waves? And do you have the courage to leave this blazing desert behind to confront the ultimate solitude of a ghost town buried deep within Arctic ice at the next destination? Following the wild, narrow cliffs behind us, our gaze is suddenly overwhelmed by a colossal granite mass towering high above the landscape known as Mount Katahdin. This lonely land serves as the brutal endpoint of the legendary Appalachian Trail. Its steep, barren terrain constantly pushes people into complete isolation from the world below. Indigenous tribes thousands of years ago revered this mountain as the dwelling place of fierce storm spirits. By the 19th century, surveyors struggled for weeks before uncovering a route capable of conquering its treacherous elevation of nearly 5,300 feet. The deadly passage known as Knife Edge suffocates every sense as the path narrows to less than a few feet wide, with immense drop-offs plunging steeply on both sides. Powerful icy winds can hurl anyone from this barren, jagged granite ridge at any moment. The exposed summit is frequently engulfed by electrically charged storm clouds and dense fog that can descend without warning, completely erasing all sense of direction. What fury of the sky is waiting to devour the reckless souls who venture onto this terrifying granite knife edge? And are you ready to descend in elevation and venture into the next gloomy wetland filled with flooding dangers? Bearing the name of the god of wind from legend, Mount Eolus is truly an impregnable fortress. This 14,085-foot mountain lies buried deep within the isolated Chicago Basin Valley of Colorado. To reach this remote core, people must endure a grueling and exhausting journey, lasting for days. Unlike neighboring peaks, the rocky surface leading to the summit feature known as the Maze is a nightmare of navigation. Losing the route here not only wastes time but can directly lead victims onto dead-end cliffs and vertical drop-offs. The countless interwoven rock ledges constantly deceive the eye. The most iconic obstacle is the narrow catwalk traversing the sky. This bridge between life and death is only a few handspans wide, completely exposed on both sides and creating the sensation of standing suspended in a vast void. Sudden storm winds are always ready to sweep climbers off and send them plunging into the abyss below. The extreme geographic isolation makes the chances of survival after an accident almost non-existent. No rescue team is capable of reaching Basin Valley within the first few hours. A simple slip or minor injury can become a slow death sentence in sub-freezing temperatures. Standing on the horizon of Washington State, Mount Rainier is a volcano that contains the most brutal, destructive power in the United States. The glacier system covering the summit is ready to trigger lahar mudflows, capable of sweeping through the valleys below. It is a ticking time bomb that directly threatens the lives of hundreds of thousands of residents. Surrounding the summit of Mount Rainier is an extreme climate system with caves that accumulate deadly toxic gases. Dense concentrations of carbon monoxide inside the caves can suffocate victims within just a few minutes. Sudden snowstorms can erase every trace of hiking trails. The danger lurking for explorers on Mount Rainier comes from enormous ice walls that can collapse easily. Massive ice blocks continuously break away, creating a series of violent avalanches along the cliffs. Deep crevasses appear throughout the area, ready to swallow anyone who makes a wrong step. The deadly zone of Mount Rainier completely cuts off all radio communication and navigation methods for climbers. Emergency rescue teams are entirely powerless against the treacherous terrain and isolating severe weather. A single careless decision can turn a summit attempt into an eternal tragedy. The massive granite formation of Long's Peak dominates Rocky Mountain National Park with its terrifying height of 14,259 feet. Real-world statistics have made this mountain one of the deadliest destinations in Colorado. The Forest Service continuously warns visitors about its exposed and steep terrain. The sheer cliffs are ready to shatter every attempt at survival. The greatest nightmare for climbers is the infamous keyhole route. This narrow path, as sharp as a blade, hangs high above the void, with a 1,312-foot drop below. The weathered granite surface can unexpectedly crumble under human weight. A single misstep can send a victim into free fall straight into the abyss. The climate at Long's Peak is known for its brutally sudden changes during the afternoon. Extreme lightning storms can develop within minutes, turning rock faces into deadly slides. The bone-chilling cold quickly drains body heat and causes complete disorientation. Visibility can drop to zero, making it easy for victims to wander into deadly terrain. This isolated wilderness completely cuts off all forms of radio communication. Emergency rescue teams are powerless against the treacherous terrain and extreme weather. The mountain's history has witnessed dozens of people permanently lost due to exhaustion. The boundary between a glorious summit and an icy grave is separated by only a single moment. Crestone Needle is a gigantic rock tower that pierces the sky of Colorado. This 14,196-foot geological formation creates one of the deadliest climbing routes imaginable. The steep cliffs constantly deceive human perception. The mountain's surface is highly prone to breaking apart under physical stress. The complexity of the terrain makes it extremely easy for climbers to become lost in narrow gullies. Straying from the route can directly push victims toward deep precipices with no way back. Many visitors have become completely stranded on exposed cliff faces for several nights. Rescue helicopters are often left powerless. Brutal afternoon thunderstorms arrive with little warning. Numerous lightning bolts, carrying enormous amounts of energy, repeatedly strike the sharp summit. The entire rocky surface immediately turns into a slick slide. Human efforts to hold on against nature quickly become desperate. The history of the area has recorded dozens of tragedies involving free falls of hundreds of feet. The descent from the mountain consistently carries a higher fatality rate than the ascent. Even the smallest error in judgment can cost a life. Crestone Needle will never forgive arrogance. Little Bear Peak stands at 14,042 feet and inspires fear among climbers in Colorado. This summit route forces visitors through the infamous hourglass bottleneck, which slopes at 45 degrees. This narrow gully has a surface as slippery as a giant granite chute. The treacherous terrain challenges every survival instinct of explorers. The most brutal threat here comes from violent rockfalls and debris slides. The crumbling geological structure causes large rocks to fall freely from heights of hundreds of feet. One mistake by a climber above can trigger a barrage of rocks that crushes those below. The confined space offers absolutely no safe shelter. The high-altitude climate maintains localized freezing conditions even during summer. Water flowing through the rocky gully instantly turns into extremely dangerous black ice. A sudden snowstorm with winds of 50 miles per hour can eliminate any chance of navigation. The bone-chilling cold quickly drains the last remaining strength from victims. Rescue helicopters frequently refuse to approach because of the powerful winds. A slip here can mean a free fall of more than 984 feet into the abyss below. Statistical records consistently indicate that casualty rates increase during the rainy season. Carelessness can instantly turn an expedition into an irreversible tragedy. The calm, mirror-like lake reflects the brilliant red colors of Maroon Peak, creating a captivating natural masterpiece. Yet hidden behind this fairy tale landscape is the chilling nickname, Deadly Bell. This location is actually one of the most deceptive and brutal terrain traps in the entire wild Rocky Mountains range. The greatest danger of this 14,163-foot mountain lies in its unstable mudstone geological structure. This highly fragile, rotten rock is extremely brittle and ready to crumble the moment someone touches it. The loose connection between soil and rock continuously threatens the lives of explorers. The steep mountain slopes contain rugged gullies filled with dangerous obstacles. A slight movement of a single rock above can instantly trigger a roaring barrage of falling rocks. Violent rock slides are ready to crush and hurl anyone from the mountainside. The weather within this bizarre rocky basin frequently changes, with sudden and merciless intensity. Violent afternoon thunderstorms arrive unexpectedly, turning steep rock ledges into slippery slides. Victims who become disoriented may face a free fall directly into the bottomless abyss below. Blanca Peak rises 14,350 feet above sea level and features exposed, steep terrain, making it the fourth highest mountain in Colorado and a place filled with danger. This massive granite formation challenges the limits of human endurance with its relentlessly steep cliff faces. The extreme harshness of its geography turns it into a deadly destination for wilderness explorers. Just above the tree line, the mountain's western slope reveals a massive and dangerous rockfall trap. The entire ground consists of heavily weathered gneiss, as loose as a pile of rubble ready to collapse at any moment. Every step across the rocky surface demands absolute concentration because the ground is constantly threatening to slide away beneath climbers. Complete geographic isolation turns the basin surrounding the summit into a dead zone with no phone signal. Helicopter rescue operations are nearly impossible because swirling winds from the San Luis Valley continuously sweep across the cliffs. Climbers who encounter trouble must rely on one another to survive. When dark, electrically charged clouds descend from the Sangre de Cristo range, the summit of Blanca Peak instantly becomes a gigantic lightning rod. Powerful electrical currents travel along the sharp rock ridges, causing climbers' hair to stand on end before lightning strikes. A hurried leap to avoid a strike can send a victim plunging directly into the abyss below. Leaving behind the deadly white expanse of the frozen volcanic region, a gloomy darkness immediately tightens around every step along an infamous trail known as Devil's Path. This treacherous land cuts directly across the steepest peaks of the Catskill Range, where the terrain leaves no room for mistakes. Towering cliffs and tangled tree roots transform every movement into a suffocating struggle for survival. The trail's name originated from early settlers, who believed that such hostile terrain was fit only for the devil himself to cross. The first surveyors faced extreme challenges as they attempted to chart a route through deep ravines and precarious passages completely isolated from the civilized world. The brutality extends across a 24-mile route, with near-vertical sections that force travelers to cling to roots and rock faces to avoid plunging into the abyss below. The weather on these peaks rising above 3,500 feet, changes constantly as sudden thunderstorms transform the trail into a slippery chute of mud and debris. What invisible trap is waiting to break the will of those daring enough to enter this forest labyrinth? And do you have the endurance to leave these slippery cliffs behind and confront the ultimate solitude of the next barren wilderness? The roar of crashing waves suddenly swallows every sound from the wilderness, pulling us to the very edge of a wild frontier known as the Lost Coast Trail. This isolated land is so rugged that transportation engineers surrendered and removed it from the National Highway Project. Its extreme isolation has transformed this breathtaking coastline into a formidable barrier that rejects every trace of the civilized world. Numerous devastating shipwrecks throughout history have turned the barren black rock beaches into ancient ship graveyards hidden beneath dense blankets of fog. For decades, regional survey maps remained a deadly blank space until the first survivors discovered the survival paths once used by indigenous tribes. Every step into this place is a gamble with death against quicksand and enormous boulders. The most ruthless trap comes from constantly changing tidal schedules, ready to rise without warning and drown the only route beneath furious waves. In this place, completely cut off from cell phone signals and rescue services, freezing fog waits to consume anyone who misjudges the timing. Which solitary footprints will be erased by the ocean's fury along this 25-mile death zone, where walls of waves rise as high as 20 feet? And are you ready to leave this deadly shoreline behind and venture into the next lethal swamp filled with abandoned moss-covered landscapes? The pungent smell of sulfur seeping from an 11,249-foot geological fissure suddenly halts us at the edge of the pine forest, forcing us to confront the danger known as Mount Hood. This isolated land is one of the most eruption-prone volcanoes in the state. Its steep terrain and bands of crumbling rock turn the area into a deadly trap. Ancient legends of indigenous tribes portrayed this place as an embodiment of wrath through catastrophic ash-filled disasters. To this day, seismic monitoring systems continuously record unusual pulses from the boiling magma chamber hidden deep within the mountain. The true danger does not lie in rivers of blazing lava, but in invisible pockets of toxic gas lurking nearby, ready to overwhelm the respiratory system of any intruder after only a few breaths. The loose geological structure is burdened by immense pressure from 12 permanent glaciers, creating a ticking time bomb of ice and rock poised to fracture and trigger massive, spontaneous avalanches. When sudden snowstorms sweep across the mountain, all visibility is erased, transforming the barren rocky slopes into a white coffin that buries every effort at survival and navigation. When will the smoldering heat within this colossal pressure chamber sweep through the valley below? And are you ready to leave this complex land of fire and ice behind and embark on a breathless journey toward the next remote destination? The lingering heat from that pressure chamber propels us into another breathless journey, leading straight to the colossal 14,179-foot summit of Mount Shasta. This land is a stratovolcano possessing destructive power, hidden beneath its year-round blanket of snow. Its sheer cliffs transform the area into an ultimate challenge for every navigation system. Violent eruptions have been etched into geological history in cycles of several hundred years, depositing millions of tons of volcanic ash across dozens of square miles. Ancient oral traditions of indigenous peoples have long regarded this mountain peak as an inviolable boundary against sudden extreme weather phenomena. A network of 7 permanent glaciers is constantly shifting, creating deep crevasses beneath the soft snowpack, ready to swallow any careless step. Sudden snowmelt during summer triggers suffocating mud and debris floods that surge into the valley at tremendous speed. In the thin air, constantly changing pressure can quickly drain the strength of even the most daring adventurers. Do you have the courage to leave these treacherous snow-covered slopes behind and confront the harshness of the dry, blazing desert routes waiting ahead before the next outburst of fury buries everything beneath the cold earth? Those blazing, bone-dry desert routes suddenly fade behind us as the shifting geology thrusts us into a new breathless challenge before the icy, needle-like 10,495-foot summit of Mount Jefferson. This isolated land in Oregon is one of the most treacherous stratovolcanoes, where violently fragmented terrain completely rejects human intervention. Geological records from thousands of years ago preserve the destructive power of this place through permanently collapsed cliffs and the traces of ancient massive earthquakes. field maps refuse to offer safe routes, forcing researchers to acknowledge it as one of the most isolated and inaccessible wilderness areas in the Northwest. The true trap lies within the decline of 4 permanent glaciers, where ice masses continuously fracture, releasing rock and mud that rush down the mountain slopes. The decaying geological foundation stands ready to collapse, transforming entire hillsides into moving landslide fields. Before another massive landslide crashes down and buries this desolate coastal region, would you dare cross the deep glacial crevasses to confront the cold vastness of the next fog-shrouded limestone canyons? Intense heat rising from the ground suddenly shatters the cold isolation of the Black Rock Desert as we come face to face with the colossal dome-shaped summit of Mauna Loa. This land in the Hawaiian Islands is the largest shield volcano on Earth, occupying most of the island's surface. Its broad, gently sloping structure stretches so far that it defeats any attempt at visual navigation. Rivers of fire from past eruptions can travel dozens of miles within hours, swallowing entire settlements in their path. Field records warn that the activity cycles of this 13,681-foot volcano can erupt without warning, transforming fields of cooled lava into traps of molten destruction. A vast network of geological fissures leaks millions of tons of molten rock, continuously reshaping the landscape. Enormous pressure from deep within the earth forces invisible toxic gases into the valleys, overwhelming the respiratory systems of careless intruders before they even recognize the danger. In this barren environment devoid of vegetation, the rugged terrain formed by razor-sharp volcanic rock stands ready to destroy vehicles and isolate people within a wilderness of fire. Would you choose to leave behind this smoldering land and venture into the harsh cold of the next fog-covered wetlands, filled with deep mud, before another destructive eruption cycle begins and sweeps away this tropical coastline? A strip of white limestone cutting across the towering garden wall reveals the breathtaking precariousness of the Highline Trail. This route, located within Glacier National Park in Montana, is a narrow path clinging tightly to a steep mountainside. With a bare cliff on one side and a bottomless abyss on the other, the terrain leaves absolutely no room for mistakes. Field records document a series of dangerous slip-and-fall incidents caused by the steep, rocky surface constantly subjected to the erosion of extreme weather. The loose geological structure, combined with late-melting snow patches that freeze directly upon rock ledges less than 3.3 feet wide, turns every step into a gamble with death suspended above the wilderness. A sharp, rocky spire rising straight into the sky suddenly reveals the breathtaking danger of Wilson Peak. This land, located in the San Miguel Mountains of Colorado, is an ancient granite tower surrounded by steep slopes filled with loose rockfall debris. The barren and rugged terrain continually rejects the footsteps of inexperienced adventurers who dare to enter. Its elevation of 14,023 feet, combined with a severely weathered geological structure, causes this mountain to experience frequent natural rock slides. Sudden temperature shifts between day and night expand existing fractures, transforming isolated boulders into a series of free-falling traps, ready to crush everything below in the deep valley. The violent instability of high-altitude weather regularly produces unexpected lightning storms that strike directly into the exposed rocky summit. When dense clouds arrive and impose a curtain of darkness, visibility is reduced to a minimum within moments. Leaving behind the tranquil mirage of Kofa, the wheels of fate continue grinding through the dust and sand, hurling us into the barren wasteland known as the Guadalupe Mountains in Texas. Beneath the seemingly silent exterior of this fossilized reef rising from the desert, a deadly web of traps lies in wait, ready to swallow the careless alive. The brutal, fractured terrain, with its steep limestone cliffs and bottomless canyons, can turn a single misstep into a hopeless plunge toward a shattered fate below. Adding to the danger, roaring valley winds of destructive force combine with the blistering daytime heat, draining the strength of even the most arrogant adventurers. Completely isolated from the comforts and rescue of civilization, every drop of water in this arid wilderness must be earned through the very limits of human endurance. Beneath thorny shrubs, concealing the deadly venom of desert rattlesnakes, the landscape is eerily silent, leaving only the shriek of the wind as a grim judgment from death itself. Standing precariously atop the cliffs of El Capitan, while violent gusts strike your face, you will come to understand the helplessness and despair of human existence before nature's power to take life away. Hold your breath and step back from the edge of the deadly abyss, for our journey through peril is far from over, and even harsher destinations still growl in anticipation beyond the horizon. Escaping the limestone tomb of Guadalupe, our journey plunges deeper into one of the most terrifying realms on the continent. Black Canyon of the Gunnison in Colorado. This colossal chasm appears like a savage wound carved into the Earth's crust, so deep and narrow that even sunlight is swallowed whole before reaching the canyon floor. Beneath the towering walls of dark granite, the Gunnison River continues its furious roar, relentlessly grinding through rock layers twisted by geological forces billions of years ago. Standing at the edge of the abyss, travelers can easily be overwhelmed by dizzying vertigo and the chilling sensation that some unseen force is waiting to drag them into the depths below. Descending into the canyon is a true gamble with death, where every safe path disappears and gives way to unstable rockfalls and treacherously slippery terrain. The icy mist that fills this confined world imprisons the reckless within a brutal, natural prison, surrounding them with suffocating isolation and stripping away any hope of rescue. Gazing upward at the narrow ribbon of sky that allows only a faint trace of light to enter, you will understand the profound helplessness of human existence before nature's relentless power. Step quickly away from the edge of this deadly abyss and release a breath of relief, for our expedition engine is still roaring, urging us onward toward even harsher realms ahead. In the heart of the barren Canyonlands desert, the maze emerges as a cruel, sandstone labyrinth, laying traps for any living soul daring enough to enter. There are no trails or landmarks here, only twisted canyons weaving into one another, forming a colossal snare ready to consume the human mind. Becoming lost in this dead land means exposing yourself to blistering heat and a throat-scorching thirst amid boundless despair. The towering crimson rock walls relentlessly deceive the eye, mercilessly luring victims into countless suffocating dead ends with no escape. The maze's greatest cruelty lies in its crushing isolation, where screams for help become nothing more than hopeless echoes striking silent stone walls. Navigation devices and hopes of rescue teams quickly become meaningless, leaving fragile human lives at the mercy of a ruthless struggle for survival. There is no forgiveness in this wilderness, where even the most seasoned explorers can vanish without a trace. Confronting nature's raw power to take life without hesitation, this desolate labyrinth remains a forbidden realm that rejects human survival. Farewell to the ghostly monolith of Shiprock. We drift into the remote and rugged mountain forests of Kentucky to confront the deadly cliff known as Indian Staircase. This ancient sandstone staircase rises slick and exposed high above the ground, instilling overwhelming terror in anyone daring enough to set foot upon its precarious ledges. The shallow depressions carved into the steep cliff face serve as the only route upward, ruthlessly demanding that climbers gamble their lives on every bloodied fingertip searching for a grip. A sudden gust of wind or a patch of moss slick with mist can easily hurl the overconfident into the yawning abyss below. Despite the ever-present danger, the instinct to survive continues to burn fiercely as worn hiking boots stubbornly cling to the rock, accompanied by the echoing taps of woodpeckers that sound like the nervous heartbeat of death itself. Upon the weathered stone, the carved handholds left behind by Native Americans centuries ago seem to retain a lingering warmth, silently witnessing the relentless struggle between life and death through the ages. You may already feel your chest tightening at the impossibly thin line separating survival from disaster. Exhale slowly to steady your nerves and step back with caution. For our storm-driven journey still roars onward toward even harsher and more unforgiving realms on the horizon. Farewell to the apocalyptic ashes of Mount St. Helens. Our deadly journey suddenly sweeps us far into the Pacific Ocean. This time, we confront the wasteland known as Sliding Sands Trail, sprawled across the summit of Haleakala volcano in Hawaii. This trail rejects every trace of the gentle tropical paradise people imagine. Instead, it appears as a barren Martian trap, waiting to drain the strength from anyone arrogant enough to enter. The moment you descend into the immense crater, you surrender yourself to the brutality of nature. Beneath your feet lies loose volcanic cinder and red sand, ready to send any traveler tumbling. The thin air at nearly 9,850 feet mercilessly constricts every fragile breath, turning each step into a struggle for survival. Despite this life-draining environment, the barren basin still shelters remarkable signs of survival. The mysterious silver sword plant stands resilient, illuminating the sea of ash with brilliant blossoms. From time to time, the calls of native Neen geese shatter the eerie silence. Those small sparks of life become a lifeline, rescuing weary travelers from the crushing weight of isolation. Take a deep breath to resist the dizziness threatening to overwhelm your senses. Drain the last drop of water from your bottle and cling desperately to the sandy slope as you struggle back toward the rim. The expedition vehicle still growls impatiently, waiting for the survivors to enter the next brutal chapter of the journey. The expedition vehicle screeches to a sudden halt across the plain straddling the Montana-Wyoming border. A colossal trap known as Bighorn Canyon suddenly emerges before the traveler. This immense fissure slices through the wilderness with towering limestone cliffs that rise dramatically into the sky. It resembles a savage shark's jaw poised to devour anyone lacking the courage to face it. Far below, dark blue waters wind through the canyon with a beauty that feels both mesmerizing and deadly. The barren cliffs leave no escape route for anyone unfortunate enough to lose their footing. Sudden windstorms howl through the canyon, ready to overturn any boat in their path. Becoming trapped within this maze of rock and water is an invisible yet merciless death sentence. Despite its oppressive atmosphere, the steep cliffs remain the proud arena of the bighorn sheep. They boldly leap across narrow ledges, as if mocking death itself. High overhead, bald eagles circle coldly through the sky, watching for vulnerable creatures below. A wave of dizziness strikes the moment you gaze down into the canyon, which plunges thousands of feet below. Take a few steps back, release a deep breath, and calm your racing heart. This journey through realms of danger is far from over, and the storm-driven vehicle is already roaring impatiently to move on. Shaking off the bone-piercing cold of the northern glacier, the storm-chasing vehicle hurls us straight into the fiery furnace of California. Ubahiba Crater appears like a gigantic bleeding wound torn open in the heart of the brutal Death Valley. It stretches its enormous parched maw wide open, waiting to swallow any living soul unfortunate enough to lose their footing. Standing precariously along the crater's rim, you face desert winds that howl mercilessly, threatening to fling you into the depths below. The relentless heat rising from the barren basin transforms this place into a true crematorium of life. Descending into this air-starved pit is nothing less than a gamble staked with your own survival. Despite the cruelty of this natural furnace, faint signs of life still persist in astonishing ways. A few scorched desert flowers stubbornly anchor themselves in the ash, collecting every rare drop of moisture they can find. The silhouette of a lean coyote silently slips among the dark volcanic rocks in search of prey. The desperate gasps of exhausted hikers struggling back up the steep slopes only deepen the haunting grandeur of the scene. Your chest is likely burning with every breath drawn from the thick, scorching air. Quickly retreat from the edge of this deadly abyss and scramble back into the vehicle in search of safety. The beast-like engine growls once more, tearing through the wind as it drags us relentlessly toward the next deadly landscape ahead. Shaking off the suffocating feeling of being trapped between Utah's sandstone walls, the relentless expedition vehicle tears northward through the wind. We are being swallowed into an invisible death trap known as the lava tube canyons of Idaho's desert. This place rejects every ray of sunlight, opening vast sinkholes that seem eager to consume any life unfortunate enough to wander too close. Thick darkness immediately strangles your vision the moment you slip into this basalt underworld. The fractured ceiling hangs overhead like a suspended death sentence, threatening to collapse without warning. Buried alive inside a signal-less tomb, every desperate cry for help is mercilessly swallowed by the darkness. Yet even within this shadowy realm of death, the chilling breath of wild nature quietly persists. A few bats emit eerie cries as they dart past like wandering spirits. Beneath the jagged rubble, the unsettling rustle of scales betrays the presence of rattlesnakes coiled in ambush. The frantic sound of your own breathing echoes from the cavern walls, amplifying the crushing loneliness. The shiver racing down your spine is a harsh reminder of death lurking below. Quickly brush away the dust and scramble back toward the opening above to reclaim a glimpse of daylight. The engine of fate's vehicle is already rumbling to life, mercilessly dragging us toward the next deadly wilderness. Forget, for a moment, the naked traps scattered across the surface of the earth. This time, we willingly step into a vertical trap. Moaning Caverns in California does not terrify the faint-hearted with silence, but with mournful groans echoing up from deep underground. The sounds resemble the lamentations of countless souls imprisoned beneath a dark abyss. At the heart of this deadly realm lies a gigantic sinkhole large enough to swallow the Statue of Liberty whole. There are no gentle trails here. Visitors must gamble with their lives on a rusty spiral staircase, suspended above the void. A single slip from the damp handrail could send you plunging helplessly into the depths below. The bottom of this black pit is far from an ordinary cavern floor. It is a vast prehistoric graveyard. For thousands of years, countless animals and unfortunate humans have fallen into this inescapable tomb. The air hangs heavy with dampness, and the silence is so profound that even the sound of dripping water crashes through the darkness like a hammer strike. Try standing still upon the swaying staircase and close your eyes as you listen to the unsettling whispers rising from below. The darkness itself seems to stir, extending invisible tendrils eager to drag you into the muddy depths. Leave this wailing chasm behind, for we must conserve our strength for the next natural nightmares awaiting us. This time, the Superstition Mountains rise like a cursed fortress tearing through the horizon. This eerie mountain range does not set its traps with bottomless cliffs, but instead lures lives to destruction with the illusion of the Lost Dutchman gold mine. Those jagged stone formations are, in truth, an open-air furnace that has consumed countless greedy souls. Entering this wild labyrinth means willingly surrendering your life to suffocating heat. The skin-searing temperatures of the Sonoran Desert mercilessly boil away every precious drop of moisture in your veins. Lose your way among the maze of arid canyons, and death by hallucination and exhaustion becomes a cruel sentence from which there is no appeal. Across the cracked desert floor, vicious cholla cacti bristle with spines that cling to flesh like the grasping hands of demons. Beneath the shadows of bizarre rock shelters, the dry rattling of venomous snakes echoes repeated warnings. Overhead they circle patiently, coldly awaiting the next traveler to collapse into a pile of sun-bleached bones. Try picking up a sun-baked stone beneath your feet and feel the scorching heat burning through every cell. Throw the cruel rock away immediately and turn your back on the deceptive dream of gold and fortune. Our wandering vehicle growls impatiently, eager to drag us away from the curse and hurl us toward the next deadly wilderness. The vehicle tears through the illusion of gold and fortune and charges straight toward the wild East Coast. Delaware Water Gap in Pennsylvania ambushes travelers with a brutal gash cutting through the Appalachian Mountains. This immense canyon cleverly conceals its fangs beneath the peaceful appearance of deep green forests. Setting foot on its rocky trails means forcing yourself into a perilous test of survival. Steep terrain and slippery boulders mercilessly punish every careless step. A sudden gale sweeping across the cliffs can easily hurl an overconfident traveler into the abyss below. The icy, fast-moving waters at the bottom of the gorge are always waiting to swallow the lives of the unwary. Beneath the dense canopy, the air grows thick with the scent of damp moss, slowly suffocating every anxious breath. Massive black bears occasionally wander through the shadows like ghostly guardians of the wilderness. The breathtaking beauty of this place is, in truth, a savage arena carefully prepared to overwhelm its prey. Try leaning out to pull a patch of slick moss from a rain-soaked rock face and toss it into the rushing water below. That fleeting sensation of losing balance at the edge of the precipice instantly awakens the most primal of fears. The ruthless machine lets out another piercing blast of its horn, dragging us relentlessly toward the next deadly destination. Leaving behind the mist-shrouded gash through the Appalachian Mountains, the raging vehicle swerves across the continent and crashes toward Columbia River Gorge in Oregon. Beneath the disguise of its picturesque cascading waterfalls, this place is in reality a colossal and merciless wind tunnel roaring through the wilderness. Setting foot on the slick, mist-covered trails means throwing yourself into a deadly gamble with no retreat. Powerful valley winds capable of uprooting ancient trees howl through the gorge, ready to hurl every desperate climber into the churning river below. Crumbling rock along the cliff edges collapses silently, turning every overconfident step into a suspended death sentence above the void. Amid the icy spray and the thunderous roar of rushing water, the struggle for survival continues relentlessly. Bruised and exhausted salmon hurl themselves over razor-sharp rapids, stubbornly fighting against the current. On fir branches hidden within the fog, the glowing eyes of mountain lions patiently pierce the darkness as they prepare to claim their next prey. Your chest is surely tightening as you stare down at the furious river twisting through the depths of the canyon. Quickly zip up your jacket and retreat from the treacherous, slippery cliff edge to preserve your life. The beast-like engine roars once more, tearing through the fog and carrying us away from the deadly waters toward the next realm of danger.